Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this beautiful corset dress with a back effect and a 180-degree flare skirt with slit. Also the straps. If this sounds like something you're interested in, keep on watching and don't forget to subscribe. With that being said, let's get on with the tutorial. I made use of 3 yards for this dress. We will begin this tutorial by drafting out our patterns on fabric. I will then rule half an inch away from this region to serve as a starting line or shoulder line. From the shoulder line, I came down by my client's breast length measurement, which is at 11.5 inches, her under bust at 14.5 inches, her half length at 17 inches. I'll mark and indicate these points and then connect them together with my ruler horizontally. I'll label these lines SH for shoulder, BL for breast length, UB for under bust, and then W for waist. At the shoulder line, I'll divide my client's actual shoulder measurement by 2, and that gives me 7 inches. I then came down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, and then I just marked her armhole depth to be 7.5 inches. I will connect this in a straight line to give my chest line. With taking what I have at the shoulder line, I'll just mark it at this point and then divide her actual bust measurement by 4. I'll also mark it. I'll connect these 2 points together using my straight rule, divide it into 2, and then come in by half an inch. Now I'm going to connect these 3 points together using my curve rule, just like you can see, to give me my armhole curve. I'll just take a neck width of 3 inches, also a neck depth of 3 inches. I'm not going to be using this, it's just going to serve as a guide for us. And then I'll just connect the neckline, also connect the slanted shoulder together as seen. I'll then proceed to label this line the chest line. I'll divide my client's nipple to nipple measurement by 2, and that gives me 3.75. I'll mark this at the bust line, under bust, and also waistline, connecting them together with a straight line. At the waistline, I measured half an inch at the both sides, and then I came down by half an inch at the breast length line. I'll connect these 2 points together using my straight rule as seen. With this done, I divide my client's actual bust measurement by 4, which is already marked at this point, and at the waistline, so I divide her waistline by 4, and I added 1 inch extra for that allowance. I'll connect these 2 lines together in order to just guide me on how to go about measuring this side that. At the breast length line, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches, which is the difference between my client's front half length measurement and also back half length measurement. I'll connect a slant line to the tip of my dart point. Now that we have our side dart marked out, at the shoulder, I'm going to divide what I have here by 2, and then I'm going to connect it all the way to on top of the breast length line. At the under bust, I marked 1/4 inch from the dartlet, and then towards the other side, I marked 1.25 inches from the dartlet. I'm just going to go ahead to measure all what I have at the both sides. So I have it to be half an inch and then 1.5 inches at the other side. I'm going to connect the both of them with straight lines to meet the under bust. I'll use my ruler to connect from the under bust to the half an inch that we came down by at the breast length. I'll do this for the both sides. From the chest line, I came up by 1.5 inches. This is how covered I want it to be, and I'm just going to mark a straight line at this point. Now guys, for the dart, I marked half an inch towards the center and then 1 inch towards the side. I'll go ahead to connect these 2 lines in order to meet my bust line. I'll then connect this to the other lines using my straight ruler like this. I measured how wide the dart is that I have at the chest line. I have it to 0.75 inches. I'll make an extension by 0.75 inches at this chest line. Then at this upper area for tightening, I measure what I have here, right here, and I have it to be 1.5 inches. I'll just make an extension of also 1.5 inches and then connect it all the way to the chest line to give me a new armhole. Placing my measuring tape at the shoulder, I came down by 8 inches, which is how exposed my client wants hers to be, and then I just marked half an inch towards the side. I'll connect the tip of what I have here all the way to the under bust using the curved part of my ruler. So can you see I arrange it? Just go ahead to draw lines like this, and then I also indicated the half length. Then I'll just measure, connect it all the way to the tip of the dart line to give me my sweetheart effect. So guys, the next thing to do is to connect this other side, but I don't want to just mark it straight. I want it to be a little bit curved, so I just came down by half an inch at the armhole, and then I'm just slanting my ruler to just give me that curve. Before cutting out anything guys, we have to close the dart, the side dart, and I'll just go ahead to just roughly just cut it like this and then cut in between what I have at the shoulder region. I also cut in between what I have at the breast line region. Now this is to enable us to just close the dart and move the paper just like you can see. So they should be very close to themselves. Just align it and then use your sellotape to just join them together. So guys, I proceed to draw out the second cup area, and I just placed it at the actual bust measurements divided by 4. That line there, I just curved it all the way to the under bust. The next thing is to input our body's measurement and also add stitching allowance, because I'll be adding stitching allowance to the paper. So at the chest line, the actual bust measurement divided by 4 is already marked there. That's how we got the armhole, and plus the that we added. So I'll just be adding 1 inch to this, and then at the waistline I divided the actual waist measurement by 4 and then marked in between what I have at the dart, and have it to be 2 inches. Made this extension of 2 inches, but I forgot to add my 1 inch for my sewing allowance, so I'll be adding that on fabric. Do pay attention to the lines I'll be joining. So we'll be cutting out this dart right here, and I'll just go ahead to cut all of these out.
What is worship without you, maker? Who am I without you, Abba? What a love you love me, Abba. Messiah, you deserve my worship, Abba. You deserve my praise, my Abba.
This is all the pattern pieces cut out. I'll just go ahead to give direction to the cup pieces by placing the arrows facing each other. I will close my dart on paper in order for us to cut out the Basque effect. Having closed the dart with sellotape, I will go ahead to bring another pattern paper, and then I'm just going to join them together at the waistline. Now the next thing to do is to determine how deep you want your bags to be. For me, I just came down by 5 inches from my waistline, which is also the half length region, and I just connected a straight line all the way from the waist to the bottom. I'll then cut this out. Now guys, that'll be all for these patterns. I'll go ahead to draft the bag. So guys, this is the pattern paper I'll be using for the bag. The first thing I'll go ahead to do is to do half an inch from this region, which is going to serve as our starting line or shoulder line. Then I'm just going to go down by the half length of what I want. So now guys, my client's half length is actually 17 inches, but I marked it out with 15.5 inches because we took 1.5 inches earlier. So that 17 minus 1.5 gave me 15.5 inches, which I'll just use as the half length for the back. Then I marked 1.25 for the zipper allowance, and I'll just mark this measurement all through and connect the line. And the shoulder line has shoulder measurement divided by 2 is 7 inches, and I just marked it away from the zipper area, and then I came down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant. From that point, her armhole depth is 7.5 inches. I marked 7.5 inches all the way through, and then connected it together to give me my chest line. Then I took what I have at the shoulder line back also at the chest line, which is 7 inches, and I'll be connecting these 2 points together using my straight rule. Then I'll divide her actual bust measurement divided by 4, and then just mark it at the chest line. Dividing what I already have at the armhole into 2, I came in by half an inch at that area to just give me my armhole curve, and then I'll just connect these 3 points together to give me my armhole. At the chest line, I added 1 inch extra for sewing allowance, and then the waistline, divide the actual waist by 4 and also added 1 inch for sewing allowances. I'll connect these 2 points together. Bringing my pattern paper for the front, I'll just go ahead to align the armholes together in order to know in order to make them to be equal. So I just measured 1 inch, and then I just marked it at this point in order to give me my chest line, and then I just reconnected it back in order to give me my armhole. I noticed that the front is shorter than the back, and I just went in by the difference of the two of them just to equalize everything. I also marked 0.75 inches at the waistline in order to avoid zipper bulge, and I'll just connect it all the way to the top. Let's cut this out.
On my skin, this is love.
And with that guys, we are done with cutting out the pattern pieces. I'll go ahead to place them on my fabric and then cut it as adequate stitching allowances all around. The ones I made, this mistake I made here, I'm going to correct it out on my fabric. So guys, I'll transfer the cups to my fabric, and I gave half an inch allowance, stitching allowance all around, and then following the direction of how I place my cups, I'm going to go ahead to pin it just that same way. And then once everything is all pinned, I'm going to start sewing from the bottom all the way to the top. That is why I'm pinning this way. After sewing my cups, this is what I have it looking like, and can you see how beautiful it's standing? I also notched the inside area and ironed it flat open. I did the same thing for the lining pieces. I made use of my tailor's arm while ironing the seams. So guys, this is the front piece, and I've gone ahead to cut it out. I gave half an inch stitching allowance towards the top, the cup areas, the side. I actually gave more than what I left for the upper area that is the bust for the waist, because I did not add stitching allowances to the waist. I made that mistake. And then for the triangle effect, I gave 1 inch, although I advise that you give half an inch because we're going to later on join the lower part. So guys, I've also cut out my lining piece. Also keeping my lining piece aside, I'll go ahead to work on the main fabric. So I just brought my boning and it measures half an inch. I also cut out this strip of fabric right here, and I've ironed it in a way that I have it to be 0.75 or 0.65 inches, so that we can be able to accommodate the boning. Now I'll just go ahead to draw my boning channels. I imitated how the bone channels were made on the style inspo, and first of all, I'll just divide what I have here into two and then connect a straight line all the way to the Basque effect, then come out at the both ends of the Basque effect by 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to divide my bust part measurement, that is the nipple to nipple measurement from the under bust, and I'm just going to go ahead to mark it at the both sides. Now I'm going to connect these slanted lines all the way to the 1.5 that we extended at the hem of the Basque effect. Now guys, I'll just go ahead to sew in my boning channels. This is what my boning channel is looking like with everything sewn in. Now the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to bring my cup piece and then align the middle of my cup piece to the middle of the bust part measurement, that's the nipple to nipple measurement. I'll go ahead and pin them both exactly together, and then from that point I'll just go ahead to pin it all the way to the top. Now once you have done this, next thing you're going to do is to make your stitch all round with half an inch that we gave earlier, joining the cups and the front piece together. So guys, upon joining the cut pieces, this is what I have it looking like with half an inch. As you can see, I've also gone ahead to notch it all round, and I also ironed the seams open using my tailor's ham. All what I did to the main fabric, I repeated everything exactly on the lining piece too. Then I'll just go ahead to get my both cut pieces, which I have it right here. My client's actual bust measurement is 35 by both cut pieces of 36 inches. Now I'll just go ahead to fold it into two like you can see, and then just stitch on it with half an inch in order to create my dart. So guys, this is what I have it looking like, having added my dart, and you can see that this cup is standing better. I'm just going to get my hemming gum, and then first of all I'm going to pin this cup round it, and then I'm now going to begin to insert my hemming gum in between it and then iron it in order to just make the cup to stick into the corset. Having ironed my cup pieces into the casing, this is what I have it looking like, and can you see how beautiful this is? Now the next thing I'm going ahead to do is to bring my lining pieces, and I'm just going to pin it all the way from the armhole all through. Now after pinning it guys, I'm going to go ahead to fold this exactly in two and then cut out the shape of my corset, because as you can tell that the fabric is longer than the corset, so I'm just going to go ahead to cut it in order to give me what I want. When you're satisfied, go ahead to unpin everything together, separating the lining from the actual fabric. Placing my measuring tape at the under bust area, I came up like this in order for me to know how long I'm going to cut the straps to be. So guys, as for the measurement that I took earlier, I have it to be starting from about 8 inches. Now guys, the width of this strap is 9 inches and then the length is 18 inches. So that 8 inches that I measured earlier for the how open is going to be at the chest area, I just went ahead to add extra 2 inches to this in order to give me 18 inches. I'll fold my fabric like this in two, and then I'm going to stitch on it. This is what the both straps are looking like, having run my straight stitch. Now I'll just go ahead to turn this to the right side. Once everything is well turned out, I will just go ahead to iron it, but as you can see, I've shifted my joining line to the middle like this. Now just go ahead to iron it out very well. Then I'm going to top stitch on this area and also weave it the ends for neatness. Having ironed it flat, this is what I have it looking like. Now just go ahead to take the measurement of what I have right here, and it is 4 inches wide. I'm going to be gathering the lower part, the both lower part, to be 2 inches each. Now bringing my front piece, I'll just go ahead to place it right sides facing each other, and then I'm going to pin it. Now this middle stitch line that we have is going to be facing us, and I'm going to be pinning it from the armhole. I'm not going to start exactly. I'm going to give a little bit of stitching allowance so that we can be able to like stitch on it smoothly without sewing on top of the strap. Now just go ahead to bring my lining piece and then align it first of all at the middle like this, and then pin it all the way to the other end. Now I'm going to go ahead to join it at the top area and also at the both sides. Having joined the straps, this is what I have it looking like, and also use lining to turn it. Can you see how neat everything is? Placing my measuring tape at the under bust, I just took what I have right here and measured the cup in order to know my shoulder to under bust, and knowing that measurement, I'll just go ahead to know how many inches that I'm going to add for the back. Now I've gotten it and mine is 8 inches. That means I left 8 inches on top. And so this total length of my strap for both the front and back pieces is going to be 16 inches, and I just marked the 16 inches like this for this second back piece. Connecting the lines together, the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to run gather stitch also at these two areas and make sure that I have them to be 2 inches like of width, just like that of the front. Now after doing this, I'll go ahead to bring back my back piece and then align it just like we did for the front. I also place the lining just like this and then stitch it all round. That is the chest line, zipper area, and also side. I have joined the back pieces and this is what they are looking like. I'll also go ahead to iron this out very well. This is what the front and the back is looking like, everything well neat and arranged. This is also what the lining area is looking like. I went ahead to use hemming gum to just hold the upper area in place. The next thing I'll go ahead to do is to take the measurement of what I have my boning channel to be and then make it about 1 inch shorter than what it is supposed to be. So I'll go ahead to insert this now. With my bones in, I'll go ahead to give this a good press in order to flatten them. With it ironed out, this is what I have it looking like. Now the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to take the measurement of it so that we can be able to cut the lower part. Now I'll just go ahead to take this front measurement, note it, and also take the back measurement also. For the skirt part, the flare is a 180-degree flare, and for this we're going to fold our fabric in a triangle just like you can see. So you can see I'm folding the triangle. I'll be cutting the front separate from the back. Now the next thing I'm going to do is that the waist measurement of what we measured earlier for the front bodies, I'm going to divide this by 1.56, and then I'm going to place my measuring tape from the apex of this triangle. I'm going to go down by whatever I get by the waist measurement divided by 1.56. I'll go ahead to take this measurement all through. This gives me the radius. Now once I've connected my lines, the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to measure what I have to make sure everything is correct. Now once that is done, I'm going to know the full length of the dress, and for this I'm going to subtract the half length measurement and add 1.5 inches extra. The 1.5 inches is for folding allowance at the bottom. Now I'm going to take this all round just like you can see me doing, and I'll just go ahead to connect them together with my chalk. With this done guys, I'll go ahead to cut it out. This gives me my front skirt part. Do note that there's going to be a slit at this dress. Go ahead to add half an inch extra at the sides so that we can be able to join it together and then make the fold. You can either add half an inch extra or 1 inch. This depends on your choice. Then towards the top part area of my skirt, I gave half an inch. This half an inch is to join it to the upper bodice. I trim a bit of excess at this point here, and then I knot the middle of the upper and lower part of this skirt respectively. This is to help us to know where our slit is going to be. Bringing this other piece of fabric, I'm going to also fold it like I folded that of the front. Now guys, there's a little story behind this. So when I wanted to cut the back piece, I noticed that the front piece there was dent inside the fabric, and I could not, there's nothing I can do to like dodge that dent. That is why I have to cut another front piece. So I just simply, instead of cutting the back piece at this point, I just cut a second front piece. With this cut out, I also transferred my notches to the new front piece, and I made sure that there is no hole in it. Now just go ahead to fold it, and I'm going to cut the back pieces too. Now the difference between the front and the back is just the zipper area. So you just go ahead to measure, give about 1 inch extra for zipper area. This actually depends on what you measured for the back, whilst for the upper back bodies. Now I'll just go ahead to cut this out, and I'm cutting it singly because there's no enough fabric for me to work with again. So that is why I'm cutting it separately. With that guys, I've successfully cut the two back pieces. Now just go ahead to modify the front. With my front piece right here, I'm going to determine where I want the slit to be, either to be at the right or at the left side of my body. Now the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to divide my bust span measurement, that is nipple to nipple measurement, mark it at this point, and then just shift it like this. Adjusting my fabric this way, I'll just go ahead to cut it out. With this cut out, I'll place my measuring tape subtracting the half length measurement, which is 17 inches, and also the half an inch for the joining allowance. So in total, if I place it at the tip, I should be having 16.5 inches. Now I'm just going to go down by how open she wants the slit to be, which is 28 inches. I just marked it at this point, and I'm just going to be taking half an inch measurement all the way to the top. Now I'm going to pin it like this and then sew it down. If you pay close attention, guys, I've gone ahead to make that stitch and also ironed it flat. I weaved it from the top to the bottom. Now for towards the edges, I've not folded it, but I've just used my pins to hold this down. I'll open my front flare this way and then bring my front upper bodice. I'll make an extension from the notch area of the middle, just so that we can be able to get the middle exactly. Now I'll just place the upper bodice like this on top of it, and then I'm just going to pin these 3 points, the middle, and the 2 sides also. Then I'm going to use my chalk to trace what I have out. I will also cut it out, giving half an inch for joining allowance. Having joined the both of them together at this middle region, this is what I have it looking like. I've gone ahead to notch it at this area in order to make it smooth, and I've also stitched on the slit area to hold it in place. Flipping the front to the back side, I'll just go ahead to close it up and then add my zipper to it. I have closed and also joined my zipper to it. Now I'm just going to stitch it at the both sides with 1 inch, or you can just go ahead to remeasure what you have and then just stitch with your body allowances from the armhole area all the way to the down of the dress. Having joined the both sides, I've also gone ahead to trim it and then weave it. I weaved it because they were not actually equal at some point, so this is just make the whole work neat. Now the next thing to do is to fold the hemline with the 1.5 inches that we gave for stitching allowance. I have hemmed and ironed the lower part very well and it's looking smooth. And with that, guys, we have come to the end of this tutorial. If you found it helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and also subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching this far, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.